RBI hikes lending rates of banks and decides to mop up excess liquidity from markets to make the rupee dearer. Raises bank rate by 2% to 10.25%. Plans to sell government securities worth 12,000 crore rupees on Thursday.
Driven by higher food prices, inflation rises marginally in June at 4.86%. Kitchen items like onions, rice and other cereals found costlier. Headline inflation increment poses higher risks of rate hike by RBI in its first quarterly.
Centre to respond to Supreme Court's notice for a framework to regulate over-the-counter sales of assets in the country. The court hearing the plea of acid attack victim Lakshmi to pass orders in the matter if the centre does not respond to curb asset sales.
Kin of more than 5,700 people missing in last month's Uttarakhand tragedy to be given monetary relief from today. State government to continue search. BJP demands white paper on relief and rehabilitation.
Monsoon session of Parliament to be held from August 5th to the 30th. Ordnance and food security to come up for ratification. Land acquisition and insurance bills to be taken up for consideration.
Six national parties refuse to appoint information officers and appellate authorities under RTI. Says citizens can approach parties for information. CPI the only party which started responding.
President Pranab Mukherjee is scheduled to launch an agri-SMS portal in New Delhi that will provide information on weather forecast and advisories on disease outbreak to farmers.
A CBI court in Delhi to resume hearing on CBI's plea seeking to make 17 persons, including Reliance ADAG chairman Anil Ambani and his wife Tina Ambani, witnesses in the 2G spectrum scam case.
Youth go on a rampage in Allahabad city yesterday against new reservation policy by UP Public Service Commission, raising slogans against the commission and the state government.
Second phase of West Bengal Panchayat polls in 3 districts, East Midnapur, Hooghly and Burdwan, witnessed violence yesterday. Burdwan turned out to be the most violent. A CPM contestant's husband and 2 others killed.
RBI imposes fines on 22 private and public sector banks, including SBI, PNB and Yes Bank, for violating KYC and anti-money laundering norms. Probe followed into charges levelled by an online portal, Cobra Post.
Alpha General Secretary Anup Chetia likely to be repatriated to India today. Chetia is currently in a jail in Bangladesh.
Top Islamist leader of Bangladesh, Ghulam Azam, sentenced to 90 years of imprisonment for 1971 war crimes. Out of all 5 Islamists convicted by Bangladesh tribunal, Azam is the second to be spared the death sentence.
Myanmar President Thein Sein promises to release all political prisoners by the end of the year. The president made the remarks during talks with British Prime Minister Cameron. Myanmar freed hundreds of political detainees since March 2010.
U.S. Deputy Secretary of State holds talks in Cairo with Egypt's caretaker leaders. William Burns says the U.S. remained committed to stable, democratic, inclusive and tolerant Egypt. Protests to coincide Burns' visits.
Spanish PM Rajoy rejects resignation calls over alleged links to a suspect in a payment scandal. Says he would fulfill the mandate given by the Spanish people.
Greenpeace protests inside the French nuclear plant. The activists project huge anti-nuclear slogans onto the outside walls. Most of France's electricity comes from nuclear power.
Putin says Edward Snowden is trapped in Russia, though Putin refused to hand him over. He says he can only stay in Russia if he stops leaking secrets about U.S. surveillance schemes.
Young Indian boxers win 9 medals, including 4 gold medals in an international boxing championship in Serbia. Salam Barasiran declared best fighter of the tournament.
Athletics in turmoil as American sprint star Tyson Gay and Jamaicans Asafa Powell and Sharon Simpson failed dope tests.